It was incredibly tempting. But when I saw that, I was like, no thanks, not interested right now.
Right, the last feature of this show before we shut it down for a week, only a week, is the one that I picked. I decided we were going to do a historical what went wrong. Before then, you came to me and said, oh, actually, there's a new one that we can talk about. You can talk about. And we're going to be talking about Yokozuna. Now, I've actually talked about this on Dutch's show. We watched a video of Yokozuna landing in the Banzai Drop, and it very much goes on the status of the wrestler you were. If you were a star, he would give you the Banzai Drop, very different to if you weren't a star. So in that respect, take it away once again, Stevie. And we're going to do something special. We're going to do side by side on this one, the whole bit.
We are going to do side by side. I'm taking every bit of advantage from this cool app that I have. By the way, also the new Playbook app that my buddy who developed this Coach Lens app added professional wrestling rings to the Playbook. So when we talk about ring positioning, we now can do a smartboard segment on ring positioning as well. So thank you very much for adding that. But yes, this is where we're going to be able to compare it. Now, just to let everybody know, it did depend. Back then especially, these are the days where I was friends with people like Ace Darling, Crowbar, other people that would go up and do these things. Even Tony DeVito, Mike Bell. This was the era of these guys. There was a core group of guys, and it expanded over time, that they would go up there, and it was pretty scary because they knew they were kind of crash test dummies or disposable human beings in these enhancement matches, which were definitely squash matches. No offense from these people in these matches. But regarding the finish, none of these guys ever got taken care of to any degree, really, with that, because this was the time for the WWF at the time, Superstar, to shine, show aggression, and didn't really take care of these kids in the ring. Was it a rule handed down by the office? I'm not quite sure, but nobody ever balked at it, There was definitely some scary incidents where this happened, especially with the Banzai Drop. So as we get into this, we're going to play the compilation video that you sent, James, of basically Yokozuna doing it to people and not holding the ropes, not even like landing on his feet, kicking his feet out. So let's go right here. All right, so here's the compilation that James sent me, which basically was the enhancement talents really not being taken care of. In this first one that I watched, he actually, out of all of them, took the best care for this guy. So he must have liked him, knew him. Maybe the family knew him. Maybe he went to one of the Samoans wrestling schools. I'm just speculating. But he, out of all of them, this was the safest one that I can see. And actually, we're going to zoom in right here. And I want to show you his feet and his hands because he literally almost rolls his own ankle here doing this. So let's play it as he comes down. Boom. So you can see he's still holding onto the ropes. He lands on his feet first, but right here, he bounces. I mean, he's still on the guy's throat. I mean, how would you like to be there, James? Right.
There's more than one person that was. Yeah, there's more than one person that was injured from these. But the thing is I'll say this now: is best I know is that enhancement talent were very much discouraged from complaining about their injuries because that means they may not be brought back.
Oh,
but
yeah.
but one enhancement was really hurt.
I think it's the guy we're talking about off before the show that I trained with over in Jersey at Mike Sharp's, because that was the one that was on the opening of Raw. That was the roughest one I've ever seen. He literally just kicked his feet, hands out, and came down from the second rope. So let's go to the next one here. Obviously, that's the pinfall. Here he is up here. And I'm going to look right here. There, let's play it. There, that's the part I want to zoom in on. So here it is, him coming down. Oh, man. I want to zoom out a little bit on that one. Good Lord. Oh, my God. Zoomed in, it looks a lot worse. That is, he did not. He held the ropes, but his feet, see how his feet kick out? Right here, they're coming down. and then you'll see them kick out. They slide. They go in that direction and just slide. That is not even on his chest. My goodness.
Is this the guy who you thought was mouthing off backstage?
This is not the guy. This is not the guy. All right, let's zoom in here.
Do we have a clip of that guy getting squashed, or do you want to tell that story now?
I'm going to. I don't know the whole story. I just know he was not a cool guy, and I can assume he carried that attitude up there. And I'll see if I can see on the close up if it's that dude. I'll say who it was and tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good Lord! Now he landed high on that, but he once again you see how he splits his legs? But I think he still kind of held onto the rope. Yeah, he was still holding the rope to the side right there. But there's a couple where he doesn't hold the rope at all. Let's go up here. Zoom in.
Oh.
This dude knows it's coming. Look, he's on his heels, literally, and it's coming. I'm almost afraid to hit play. Oh, my God. Let's bring it out a little bit here. Back it up. He let go with one hand. My God, man. Now, the thing, too, this sets the stage and the foundation for when he takes care of the main roster talent, that the fans react. There is a psychology to doing it this way. Is it a safe one? Is it a courteous one? Not exactly. But when they're this rough, the psychology is they can take care, but the mental image of the fans is still on this set of dangerous Banzai drops. So you got to think about that, of course, pinfall. This is Virgil.
This is Virgil. There's a reason I put this next. It's almost a transition from jobber to jobber of the stars, because I wanted to also bring this up, is that the positioning of the victim also dictates whether this is going to be a bad squash or not.
He's in like Macho Man elbow territory. He's not as close to the corner as most people are, right?
No, nowhere near.
Look at that
All the
face.
stars knew, or Yokozuna knew, to drag them very close to the corner if he was going to protect them. Whereas the guy that we just saw get squashed, he was far out, and so is Virgil, surprisingly.
That's the furthest out I've seen anybody ever with this. So we're going to zoom in. But he still kind of took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
He held onto that rope. He landed flat on his feet. It's not as rough as I would have guessed. Do you see that right there? He lands right on his feet flat. So he kind of took care of him. One hand on the rope. One hand on the rope up there. Foot there. That's not as egregious. Now, Virgil was way out there, man. He's lucky Yoko grabbed the one rope. Now that's right there. That's the rough part. The little rocking of the boat. That could have been a rib right there. Just like he might have been like, my left rib is hurting. Okay, there you are. Here we go.
So we're into the stars portion now.
Okay. No, easy savage, right?
That's Koko B Ware, that.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. I saw the fancy checkerboard tights, but didn't see the person. Yeah, he took care of him. He literally is just doing a squat. He landed on his feet and then just sat on him. I mean, the dude's still 600 pounds. You're not going to be able to breathe. That's a pretty good one right there. Which one is this? Oh, Bret. Yeah, of course. And right there. Do you see that? Look at that.
Bret actually brings his body up as well.
Bret still did that. Bret's like, I'm not taking any chances. Hey, you see, imagine laying there, looking up and seeing the mass of humanity above you and not knowing, Like, is he going to take care? Or if you're an enhancement talent, knowing he's not going to take care of you, you know it's coming, and nothing. Can't complain. Just got to hope he doesn't break your sternum. That's all it is, or a rib. Yeah, but he took care of Bret. See, he's totally on his feet, and there's at least a second of just sitting on him. And if you didn't have those dangerous Banzai drops, I think the fans would crap all over this type, right? If they didn't see the really, really heavy ones. And maybe that is the psychology or the edict that when it's an enhancement match, we got to make it look borderline dangerous. Then we have them conditioned to know this, or at least believe this move is dangerous. Even though in this case, it's much safer. Oh, Typhoon. I got to look back at this match. Because this on paper, just like the Big Show and who'd you say? Big Show Kane? Like, I'd like to see these two work. No, you said Big Show Kane you said Big Show Kane was a disappointment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I thought you meant the Big Show Carly backstage fight. Yeah.
All right, so let's take a look.
But I believe this might be post-Shotmaster Typhoon when he came back briefly.
I think so. Yeah, he totally took care of him. The point is, he holds onto the ropes. He literally just stands up right there. Feet are flat, hands are there, and he just sits. Now, if he did this, I'm just saying, I feel bad for the guys that took this move and got hurt, no matter what their attitude was. But dare I say it, if he had done this to an enhancement talent, the fans would have crapped on it. It's a very, very weird situation. So there he is, pinning him there. And who's this?
Hulk Hogan.
Now, I heard they stretchered Hogan out after this, and he couldn't walk, and he told, no, that's a different story. But I believe it. Yeah, he definitely was taking care of the golden goose, as Taker called it, right? Definitely. Okay, so now we've done that. Let's do this. Let's do fancy side by side. We're at the same point. We're going to slow-mo and play them both at the same time. Watch. Totally different. Now, this one on Duggan kind of reminds me of the one that he gave to the first guy. I skipped to the second one. The first one was a little heavy on Duggan. It wasn't quite the same. So we'll move ahead here. He gave Duggan 4 of these. So let's go to this one. He started to get progressively safer to each one. So let's do this from there. And now. Boom. That's just a little example of how, like we said before, the culture in WWE back at that time, and I knew, like I was friends with Ace Darling, like I said, Crowbar. There was a couple other independent workers that I was friends with. And even the ones I wasn't friends with, like the guy I talked about at Mike Sharp's Wrestling School, and they would come back from Raw tapings or whatever they would do, usually just a Raw taping. They would tape like 2-3 shows at a time. And they looked like they'd been in a UFC fight. And they were limping, or they were still looked like they were crying, like in a way like, my God, what did I do wrong? They thought they had heat. There was a gambit of negative emotions. They were traumatized. So like when I saw that, because I was half tempted, maybe I go, but also knew, just like ECW, I don't have the look. I can't work. I don't know anything about this business. I'm not smart enough to anything. If I go up there, I'm going to get eaten alive. I probably would have never went to WWE if I went there, because I would have screwed up bad. But when I saw them, it was almost like a cautionary tale of, ooh. And they were like, oh, we got paid and we got to do this, and they want us back and everything. And then there was one dude just quiet, had his ego checked big time, but he still stayed the same dude. So it did. After a while, when the bruises wore off and the ribs healed, he became the same guy he always was. But it was kind of like, man, I like I always say, you believe what you want to believe. That was a sign. You're not ready for any of this. You need to stay right where you're at. And thank God. Because you're a young wrestler. You're getting paid back then probably, what, 100, 150, 200 bucks to go up there and be on TV. And you will get booked on the indies. People understood you're an enhancement guy, but I can book you on the indies. It was incredibly tempting. But when I saw that, I was like, no thanks, not interested right now.
Did you ever have an offer or an opportunity to do some enhancement talent?
Never.
For WWF?
Never. No, never. It was usually they knew somebody. I think it was like Tony DeVito, Mike Bell. They were Northeast guys. So they probably worked indies on Jersey and New York, met up. Tony and Mike gave their name to whoever. It might have been Gurria. Hey, smartass. Oh my God, I think I've been Banzai dropped. Let me take a drink. Future episode, take a drink.
Well, while you drinking and clear your esophagus, I'm going to say something. Yoko's, that was some real bullshit there. Because he quite clearly could have protected. He was protecting the stars maybe even a bit too much at times, Hulk Hogan, especially the Golden Goose. But some of the enhancement guys, man, he was crushing them. I mean, there was one that I couldn't find the video of where he was as far away as Virgil and doesn't hold on to the ropes at all and just kills the guy. And someone wrote to me some time ago when we did, I don't know if it was a comment on YouTube or an email or whatever, that they said, I knew the guy in the video that Dutch and I watched and reviewed. And as I mentioned before, he never complained about it to WWF in case it affected future bookings. But he said he was really hurt. He had broken ribs. He was hurt for a long time. And I sort of look at that as like, as you have said before, your value as a human is dictated by how much of a push you're getting. So these people who are coming in, putting their life on the line are pond scum to the WWF guys at the time or whoever. And it's, it's a really, really terrible way of looking at it, but it seems to be true at the time. I mean, some of these people are getting badly hurt for $200 or whatever it is.
Yeah, I see. What I'm doing is I'm not trying to play a gatekeeper or have the Agent Smith effect of protecting the WWE way of doing things back then. I'm happier than anybody that it's changed. And also, I'm very, very upset and sad for the guys that had to go through that. There's no reason for it. Even Razor Ramon would do the Razor's Edge, and you saw it. He would do it to certain enhancement guys and fold them and drop them on their head. He had two different ways of doing it, admittedly, two different ways of doing it. And I don't agree with that at all. I believe across the board, as I've always said, it's hard enough as it is. And it's definitely hard for an independent wrestler just looking for somebody to see that they can do something for a potential job, maybe not today or tomorrow, but in the future. I totally agree with you. Me as a person, me as a human being, says it's bullshit. But in all honesty, the pro wrestler comes out sometimes and tries to rationalize it. Maybe rationalize it to myself because all I'm going to do is get upset, sad, and angry about it, and I can't do a damn thing about it. All I can do is speak about it here. And yeah, Yokozuna, from what I knew, was a pretty easygoing, very jovial guy, pretty easy to get along with across the board. This is just what I understand. But also at the same time, that environment is toxic, poisonous, and can bring the worst out of anybody there. And that's what happened. And yeah, also Perry Saturn talked about it. Did you interview him? You interviewed him at WrestleMania weekend. He talked about how they made him dress in a closet when he was an enhancement talent. They wouldn't let him dress in the dress. He had to dress in a closet. And he never forgot that. And Perry became a star. So that's the whole thing too. If you're in the least little bit political, you're going to treat everybody the same or treat everybody with the same courtesy and respect, or at least give everybody the benefit of the doubt, because there could come a day, if you look at it in selfish terms, like wrestlers, the only way to get through to a wrestler, why not treat that person you don't have any idea who they are? Treat them good, treat them well, and they might be your boss one day. They might be a main eventer, and you might be looking for a job. Nobody thinks that way. You're going up, you're going to see everybody on the way down too.